Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Ralph English Podcast. I'm Ralph, your host, coming to you from England. And today's episode is one you are going to absolutely love because we're talking about 4 tiny words that confuse almost every English learner. Stay with us.
Yes, you really don't want to miss this one.
And joining me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Aria, joining us from the United States. Aria, say hello.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited for today's topic. It's just a really great one.
It really is. By the end of today's episode, you are going to understand the difference between 4 words, few, a few, little, and little. You will know when to use each one, why one tiny letter, the letter A, changes the whole meaning, and how to stop making this very common mistake forever.
Exactly. When you finish this episode, you won't just know the grammar rule. You will actually feel the difference. You will speak with more confidence. You will sound more natural. You will be the kind of English speaker who chooses words with purpose. That's what today is about.
Spot on. So let's jump straight into this deep dive. We are looking at a language rule that, well, it feels like just a dry grammar lesson at first glance.
Right, like something you just memorize from a textbook.
Exactly. But it's actually this huge, this profound emotional trigger. We're talking about dropping one single letter, the letter A.
Just one vowel. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Because leaving out that letter can be the difference between telling your family that you were doing great and making them think you were, having a total life crisis.
Oh, for sure. People work so hard on their vocabulary. They learn all these big fancy words, but they completely miss the emotional signal they are sending with these tiny little words.
So let's unpack this.
Yeah.
On paper, all 4 of these words, few, a few, little, and a little cup, they all just mean a small amount of something, right?
Yeah, structurally the math is the same. It's a small amount.
But the way they make the listener feel is completely different. Let's start with the first pair, few and a few.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So we only use these 2 words for things we can count, things you can point at, one by one, like friends, books, chairs, minutes.
Right. Countable nouns. Easy enough.
But here's where it gets interesting. Let's imagine our new city story from the research.
Oh, I love this example. It makes it so clear.
Right. So imagine you just moved to a brand new city for a job. You have been there a couple of months, and you have made exactly 4 friends.
Okay, so 4 friends. That's the math.
That's the math. Now you call your mom back home, and you say to her, I have a few friends here. Notice I use the letter A, a few friends.
When a native speaker hears that a few friends, the feeling is totally positive. It's a green light.
Exactly. It's a lovely green light.
You are telling your mom, I have some friends, and that is enough for me right now. I'm doing okay. It's a happy feeling.
But then imagine you make that same phone call.
Yeah.
You still have exactly 4 friends. The math has not changed. But this time you say, I have few friends here. No letter A.
Oh, wow. The feeling just drops completely. It's a red light now.
A massive red light.
Yeah, your mom isn't going to hear the number 4. She is going to hear loneliness.
Quite right.
She is going to hear that there is a problem. You are basically saying, I don't have enough friends, and I am sad about it.
It's the exact same number of people. But the first sentence with the letter A means you are happy. The second sentence without the A means you are lonely. All because of one letter.
It's just wild how the human brain processes that.
It really is. So if we want to think about why this happens, we can look at the history of the letter A. In Old English, it actually comes from a word that meant one.
Oh, like a single solid thing.
Brilliant, yes. It gathers things together. So when you say a few, that letter A puts a nice little box around your friends. It makes them a solid, real group. It highlights what you actually have.
I see. It focuses on the positive, the presence of those people.
Right. But when you take the letter A away, you take the box away. And suddenly your brain only looks at the empty space. It highlights what is missing.
That makes total sense. So few without the A means a shortage. Not enough.
Yes. Let's think about throwing a birthday party. If I throw a party and the next day I tell you, few people came, no A, I'm basically telling you my party was a disaster.
Yeah, you're focusing on all the empty chairs in the room. I would probably want to give you a hug if you told me that.
I would definitely need a hug. But if I tell you a few people came with the A, all those empty chairs just vanished from the story. I'm telling you, we had a lovely, small, cozy gathering.
Because the A puts a box around the people who did show up and celebrates them.
Exactly. But I want to ask you about a tricky situation. Because sometimes an empty space is actually a good thing.
Ooh, okay. Like when?
Well, let's say I'm at work, and my boss comes up to me after a really big, difficult project. And my boss says, Ralph, there are few people who work as hard as you.
Ah, I see what you're doing. No letter A in that sentence.
Right. Few people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the negative, empty feeling.
Yeah.
But if my boss says that to me, I am absolutely thrilled. I am taking that as a huge compliment.
And you totally should. That is such a great catch, because native speakers actually use this negative feeling on purpose sometimes.
Should make a point, right?
Exactly. Your boss is saying there is a severe shortage of hard workers. The empty space is everyone else's laziness.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. They're looking at this giant empty room of talent and saying, there's almost no one in here except for you. It's a high compliment because few is so strong and negative.
So the rule still works. The negative void is still there. It's just being used to make me look good.
Spot on.
Hey, before we go any further, if this is helping you understand English better, please take 2 seconds and hit that like button. It really helps us reach more learners just like you. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe right now so you never miss an episode. Share this with a friend who's learning English too. Okay, let's keep going.
Awesome. So we've talked about countable things, friends, chairs, people, but we need to shift gears now, right?
Yes, to the second pair of words, because we can't count everything in life.
Right. What about things like water or time or money or even feelings like hope and confidence?
You can't say, I have 3 hopes or give me 4 times. That doesn't work. These are uncountable things. And for these, we use our second pair, little and a little.
But the really cool thing is the emotional rule is exactly the same.
The green light and the red light still apply.
Totally. A little with the A is positive. It's a green light. Little without the A is negative. It's a red light.
Let's use the marathon story for our notes, because I think this shows the feeling perfectly.
Oh, the running one. Yeah, this is a great example.
So it's the night before a huge race, a marathon, and you ask a runner how they are feeling. If they say, I have a little fear, but I'm excited, how does that sound to you?
It sounds super brave. It's healthy because that letter A acts like a bucket. Fear is this huge, scary ocean, right? But a little scoops some of that fear into a small bucket.
A bucket. That is a brilliant way to picture it.
Yeah, they are holding the bucket. They're saying, I have some fear, but I can handle it. It's just a little.
But what if that same runner looks at you and they look terrified and they say, I have little confidence? No letter A, just little confidence.
The bucket is gone.
The bucket is completely gone.
And that is a huge red flag. It's a cry for help. By dropping the A, they are pointing at a massive empty space where their confidence should be.
It's a shortage. Not enough.
Exactly. If your friend says they have little confidence, you need to stop everything and give them a pep talk right away.
You really do. And it's the exact same thing with money. We use these words all the time to talk about money without, actually showing people our bank accounts.
Oh, for sure. Money is a big one.
Let's say we are out in a restaurant. The bill arrives at the table. And I look at you and say, I have little money left this month. No A.
If you say that, I am paying for your dinner immediately.
You are. Thank you very much. But why?
Because little money means you are in trouble. It means a severe shortage. You're basically saying you might not be able to pay your rent. It's a crisis.
Right. It's a heavy, bad feeling. But what if I look at that same bill and say, I have a little money left this month with the A?
Well, then we are splitting the bill.
Fair enough.
But maybe we skip dessert, right? Because a little money means things are tight, you aren't rich, but you have enough to survive. You have the bucket.
It's manageable. And this is why it's so important for English learners to get this right. Because if you mix these up, you send the completely wrong message to your friends.
It's so true. Like if someone comes to you crying and says, I have little hope, and you smile and say, oh, that's great that you have some hope, you have totally failed them.
You completely misunderstood their heart in that moment.
Yeah, you missed the emotional broadcast.
We are halfway through today's episode, and if you're still here, that tells me you are serious about improving your English. We love that. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and share this episode with one friend today. One friend. It could really help them.
Definitely. And there's another really cool way native speakers use a little in daily conversation.
Oh, right. To soften the blow.
Yes. We use it as a conversational shock absorber.
I love that phrase. How does that work?
Well, imagine you start a new job, and it is incredibly hard. You are super stressed, but you don't want to sound like you're complaining to your new boss. So instead of saying, this job is terrible, you say, the new system is a little challenging.
Ah, yes. A little challenging, even if it's actually massively challenging.
Right. You aren't actually measuring the amount of challenge. You are using that safe, positive bucket a little to make the negative feeling more polite.
It's a social trick. I'm a little tired, I'm a little nervous.
Exactly. It makes negative things socially acceptable. Native speakers do it constantly.
It's incredibly elegant once you see how it works. But that brings up a really big question. If the rule is this simple, A means good, no, A means bad. Why do so many smart English learners still get it wrong?
That is the big question. And there are really three main traps that learners fall into.
Okay, let's go through them. What is trap number one?
Trap number one is just a translation error. In a lot of languages, there simply is no word like a that changes emotions this way.
Right. In their language, they just have one word that means small amount.
Totally. So they translate it in their head, they drop the letter A because they think it's extra, and suddenly they're projecting misery when they are actually happy.
The accidental depression trap.
Yes. They might say, I have little time to chat, meaning, let's talk fast, I'm so happy to see you. But the native speaker hears, I am super stressed and talking to you is a bourbon.
Oh dear. That's a rough one. What about trap number two?
Trap two is mixing up the countable and uncountable words, like saying, I have little friends instead of few friends, or few water instead of little water.
Which, honestly, is not the end of the world.
No, not at all.
If someone says, I have little friends, a native speaker will know exactly what they mean. The grammar is a bit wobbly, but the feeling is still there.
Right. Native speakers will autocorrect that in their heads. It's trap number three that is the real danger. We call it the toxic positivity trap.
Toxic positivity. This one is fascinating because it actually comes from trying to be too polite.
Exactly. Sometimes students are taught that a few and a little are just the nicer, friendlier version, so they use them all the time, even when a situation is genuinely terrible and they really need the negative word.
Right, like the student taking the big exam.
Yes. Imagine a student who hasn't studied at all. The exam is in 10 minutes. They don't know anything. If they smile at their friend and say, I have a little hope that I'll pass, they sound crazy.
Delusional, because the house is on fire.
Yes. In a severe situation like that, they should use the negative word. They need to say, I have little hope. That shows they actually understand reality.
So you shouldn't use the green light when you are standing in the middle of a disaster.
Exactly. It just confuses the person listening to you.
Okay, to really prove how powerful this is, let's talk about the free concert test from our research. Because this proves the grammar isn't about numbers at all.
Oh, this is the ultimate test. It really is.
Okay, so imagine there is a free music concert in a public park, Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And exactly 30 people show up. That is the hard fact. 30 human beings.
Okay, 30 people.
Now, what is the correct English? Is it few people or a few people?
Well, it completely depends on who is holding the microphone.
Yes. It's like a camera lens. The grammar has nothing to do with the number 30.
Nope, nothing at all.
Let's say you are the event organizer. You spent 10,000 pounds on a huge stage because you expected 5,000 people.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. You look at those 30 people through a negative lens. You say few people showed up. No A.
Because that word isn't describing the 30 people, it's describing the 4,970 people who are missing.
Spot on. It captures your total disappointment, the empty grass. But let's say you're just a fan of the band. You're walking your dog, and you realize you get this private, beautiful, up-close concert.
Then you use the positive lens. You say a few people were there and it was pure magic.
Because you are celebrating the presence of those 30 people. You put a lovely box around them with the letter A.
The grammar is just a mirror of your emotional state. It's not math.
It's all emotion. Native speakers will always trust the emotional signal over the structural math, every single time.
For sure. If you drop the A when talking about your life, they will genuinely believe you are unhappy.
Well, this has been such a brilliant deep dive. Let's give our listeners a very quick summary so they can remember this forever.
Let's do it.
So, countable things you can point to, like friends of books, take few or a few.
Yeah.
Uncountable things like water, money, and time. Take little or a little.
Magic.
But the real secret is the letter A. Leaving the A out means an empty space. A bad feeling. Not enough. But putting the A in means a full box. A positive feeling. Some, and that is okay.
So the next time you speak English and you want to talk about a small amount of something, start for just 1 second. Ask yourself, is this positive or negative? Do I feel good about this amount or not? If good, add the A. If not, leave it out. That one habit will make you sound so much more natural, so much more fluent.
It's such a small habit, but it changes everything. It makes you wonder, actually.
Wonder what?
Well, If one invisible little letter can flip an entire conversation from happy to desperate,
Yeah.
what other tiny habits are we doing every day? A slight pause, a drop in our voice, things that change how the world sees us without us even realizing it.
Oh, that is a wild thought, the empty spaces we leave behind.
Exactly. Keep exploring those spaces, everyone.
From me, Aria, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Keep going, keep learning. You are doing amazing.
And for me, Ralph, cheerio for now. We'll see you in the next.